1. And also we have sometimes model 2, either model 1 or model 2, or sometimes, so model 3 also. In model 3, you have maximization type problem, in minimization type problem, all type of constraints are there. So we will consider the simplest model first. Okay. So what is the simplest model? The simplest model is like this. So we have a linear programming problem. We have a maximization type objective function. We have constraints. There are m number of inequations. There is type 1 inequation and n number of decision variables. So if you are presenting the matrix notation, the C vector is a column vector, of course. The components are C1, C2, Cn, all are real. Okay. The decision vector is Ax. Decision vector, because they are the decision variable, they are non-negative. The components are x1, x2, xn, all are non-negative. And the right hand side B with the research parameters, the B1, B2, Bm. So from this it indicates we have m number of constraints. So with respect to m number of constraints, we have a matrix A of size m by n, m number of rows, n number of columns. So this all the elements are real number. In the linear programming problem, nowhere you will find say elements with complex coefficients. Of course, in future we will have say linear programming problem where the parameters are random variables. So they are not simply the real number, they are random variables. Okay, random means sometimes, so in the interval, they are varying in the interval. Sometimes, they are discrete random variables, sometimes continuous, depends on the distribution it follows. Okay, so this is a linear programming model. So we are naming this model as primal one. With respect to the primal, we'll have the dual one. So if you are writing this model instead of the matrix notation, if you are writing in the mathematical notation, so we can write in this for maximize a linear objective function. We say it is z or f, hardly matters. We say it is f also, all right, a linear function. So j varies from 1 to n, cj xj, subject to the constants. J varies from 1 to n, aij xj less than or equal to bi. I varies from 1 to m, xj non-negative, j varies from 1 to n. I have already told generally we solve in the linear programming maximization type problem. So always you try to use maximization type objective function, but for nonlinear we consider generally minimization type objective function. For linear it is maximization type, for nonlinear it is minimization type. So any form also we can solve, but we can transform the standard form in this manner. So further, so if we are directly writing the dual will be like this. So we will try to prove how we have got the dual. The dual is something like minimization of f dash. This is equal to b transpose into I. B vector is known to us. Its transpose is known into I. The y is a dual variable vector. What is that? A transpose into y, that is greater than or equal to c, and the y is non-negative, where the y vector has n number of components, y1, y2, yn, and they are all non-negative. So if you are expanding, so it will be like this: minimize f dash equal to I varies from 1 to m, bi, yi, subject to I varies from 1 to m, aij, yi, greater than or equal to cj, j varies from 1 to n, and yi non-negative, I varies from 1 to m. This the primal and the dual. So mathematically we have to derive. So if you want to derive, we have to use method of Lagrange multipliers. We have to use method of Lagrange multipliers. How do we find the dual of a linear programming problem? We will use Lagrange multiplier methods to establish the dual. Details are given in this manner. So this is the problem, maximize f. I told. So we are, when you solve linear programming, we don't take derivatives. If it is something like nonlinear, then it is possible. But if you take derivatives, so all will be constant, So there will be problem, other problem. Okay. So maximize f, this is equal to summation of both j varies from 1 to n c j x j. This is equivalent to minimization of minus f, this is equal to minus summation of both j varies from 1 to n c j x j, subject to, so j varies from 1 to n aij xj less than or equal to bi, I varies from 1 to m and xj non-negative. So in this is an inequation. Generally, in equation you have to include slug variables. The slug variables are non-negative. We say slug variables are SI, but you have to declare this is non-negative. But we'll write in such a manner that no question of declaring. We can write instead of SI, we'll write SI square. And certainly SI square is non-negative, 0 or greater than or equal to 0. Okay, this. So in this manner we should write. So add slug variables to each of the inequation. As a result, we have summation of j varies from 1 to n aij xj plus si square minus bi equal to 0. Generally, in the Lagrange multiplier method, we are using or minimization type objective function, and the constants are all equal type. So here also all the constants we have changed to equality type. So once you include slug variables, then it is become equal type, then you subtract minus bi, then equal to 0. Okay, this is the trick. So similarly, the decision variables, for the decision variables, as you know, all the decision variables are non-negative. If you multiply minus sign, minus xj less than or equal to 0. Okay, so then we want to make equality type. So xj plus tj square, some slug variable square equal to 0, and this tj square we are treating as a slug variable. This. Now the Lagrange function. We are considering the Lagrange multipliers. So Lagrange function is a function of several variables, in the sense function of x, function of si, function of tj, so etc. Several are there. Okay, so we'll write in this manner. This is a function of x, L is a function of x, S slug variable, T is also something like say slug variable, lambda and mu. Lambda, mu are the multipliers. Okay. For the objective function, we are keeping as it is, minus summation over j varies from 1 to n cj xj. This is the objective function. And since we are including equality type constants, so this equal to 0. So lambda into this equal to 0. This is 0. And so I varies from 1 to m. Okay. I varies from 1 to m. So this is also altogether 0. And similarly, next term also 0. So what it indicates? So we are going to maximize that or minimize this. So original problem and the present problem become same. Okay. So what about the terms? These lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda m, they are the multipliers with respect to first constant. So they are equal type constants, m in number. Then we have multipliers like mu1, mu2, mu n. So with respect to the second type of constants, so there are n in number. These are the multipliers. Say first one and second one. So these multipliers, so we'll treat them primal variable, dual variables. Which one primal, which will dual, you will learn. Okay. The x1, x2, xn, as you know, there are primary variables. And this lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda m, okay, this will be the dual variables we have to establish. And we have the slug variables like s1 square, s2 square, sm square, they are non-negative. Then also slug variables t1 square, t2 square, tn square, they are non-negative. So there are 5 set of variables: lambda, mu, x, s1 square, and then t1 square, etc. Okay, this 5 set of variables. So we can count how many are there altogether. So because it is required when you go for the derivatives. Then, so the Lagrangian function, you know, a function of several variables, function of x, function of lambda, from the mu, from the s, d, etc. We'll take derivatives. Okay, one by one. First, we'll take derivative with respect to xj, then derivative with respect to lambda I, derivative with respect to mu j, derivative with respect to ti, and derivative with respect to si. Okay. So this equation you have to simplify. I think this we have covered, but still I am repeating. Say when you take derivatives, del L by del xj equal to 0, there are n such equations. So if you simplify, I will tell you how to simplify this. Here, this you are taking derivative with respect to xj. In first term, there will be cj. In second term, xj, if you are taking derivative with xj, then we have summation over j varies from 1 to n lambda aij into j varies from 1 to n aij into xj. So this whole into is there lambda I. So if you take derivative with respect to xj, then aij and lambda I will come to the picture. Okay. So similarly, the next term, if you take derivative with respect to say xj, so here minus mu j will come. Okay. So we will simplify. So we will simplify in this manner. The first derivatives, when you equate the del L by del x equal to 0, the necessary conditions. So we have minus Cj plus I varies from 1 to m lambda I aij minus mu j equal to 0. We have assumed all the multipliers, they are the primal variable, dual variables. So we like to use. So here we will find minus Cj plus summation over I varies from 1 to m lambda I into aij minus mu j equal to 0. If you subtract mu j equal to 0, this mu j, certainly it is greater than or equal to 0, non-negative. So if you subtract some positive quantity, then it is becoming 0. So, but generally, as you know, this mu j is non-negative. So if you keep in the left hand side this, so we can write summation over I varies from 1 to m lambda I aij minus Cj, this is equal to mu j. But the mu j is non-negative. As a result, we can write so I varies from 1 to m lambda I aij minus Cj, that is greater than or equal to 0. This is actually becoming one of the dual constant. Okay. So if you simplify further, this will be summation over I varies from 1 to m lambda I aij greater than or equal to Cj, j varies from 1 to n. Okay. So in this manner, all this, we will take 5 different derivatives and we will simplify. After simplification, we will combine. Here, if you take derivative with respect to lambda I, del L by del lambda equal to 0, I varies from 1 to m. So this is the outcome. Summation over j varies from 1 to n, aij xj plus si square minus bi equal to 0. You see, we are multiplying multiplier lambda I and it is becoming 0. If you take derivative and this equal to 0. So, but as you know, si square is always positive, greater than or equal to 0. So if you leave that si square, so this is becoming summation over j varies from 1 to n, aij xj less than or equal to bi, I varies from 1 to n. Okay. Equation number 4 is clear? Hello?
Yes, sir.
See, nothing is there, but you have to derive. But I must write a small numerical example. How do, okay? But we are talking about a general problem. Okay. General problems are, so what is the general problem? General problem, we have considered maximization type objective function. The constants are less than equal type and decision variables are non-negative. This, okay. As you know, there are several versions of such problems. So first version is this. Okay. Similarly, if you take derivative of partial derivative with respect to SI, okay, del L del psi is equal to 0. So if you, since it is, so square is there, no, SI square, if you take derivative, so 2 will come, 2 SI into lambda equal to 0. So 2 is not 0, so SI into lambda equal to 0. This indicates the product equal to 0. Product is equal to 0 means either both of them are 0 or one of them. Okay. So in this way we will argue. So we have combined, say combine, and after combining we are finding lambda I into bi minus j average from 1 to m aij xj, this equal to 0. Okay. So why it is required? So you know this a linear equation plus the slug variables, and after simplification we are writing in this manner. Okay. Similarly, we can also write the derivative, partial derivative with respect to mu j, that is also equal to 0. So here you will have similar equations. Okay, but their problem is not solved. So how to solve the problem? So after the simplification, we are finding all this type of relationship, and we have to combine. We'll combine in this manner. Okay. So earlier we have taken tj square equal to xj by tj. So the tj, the parameter tj square means that is becoming non-negative. So that non-negative equal to xj, that is also non-negative. Okay. So we are writing mu j into xj equal to 0, and this says j varies from 1 to n. Okay. Then you can simplify this. This will be, since the mu j is non-negative, we can write lambda into aij, I varies from 1 to m minus j equal to mu j. Okay. So as you know, the mu j is non-negative, and if you say greater than or equal to 0, so the equation will turn in this manner. So the cj less than or equal to I varies from 1 to m lambda I into aij. Right? Now we like to simplify. How to simplify? See, cj is like this. Now both sides you multiply xj. Why xj? Xj is non-negative. If you multiply, so with a positive, non-negative means positive or 0. So there is no change in the inequality, but we can write in this form. So if when we are saying xj non-negative, cj into xj, that is less than or equal to summation of our I varies from 1 to m aij xj, aij lambda I whole into xj. Okay. This. So this you can further simplify, and after simplifying, we can write in this form the next equation. Okay. So finally, so as you know, the cj xj, this is the objective function of the primal problem, and the bi into lambda I, if you treat yi as a yi, if you are thinking suppose like the I varies from 1 to m bi into lambda I, so this left hand side is the objective function of the primal LPP. The right hand side is the objective function of the dual LPP. Okay, dual. And in fact, the maximum value is always less than or equal to minimum value of the dual objective function. And so both are equal, means you have an optimal solution. But if this is the case, inequality, then we have to declare, we have to simplify and say that some problem is feasible or maybe unbounded, depends on the problem. Okay, this. So this, whatever we have written in the left hand side, that is the primal objective function, right hand side in the dual objective function. So this, since it is not equal, this is the dual weak duality theorem. Okay, and we have also strong duality theorem if they are both are equal. So this also in last class I have told the C transpose X, that is the primal logic function, B transpose Y in the dual logic function. This C transpose X is always less than or equal to B transpose Y. So we can also prove and write the auxiliary function F is less than or equal to F dash. Okay. And see, three things we are observing, either both are becoming same value, or one is more, other is less. Okay. Similarly, this whatever we are presenting here, B transpose Y, this is I varies from 1 to Bi into Yi. So where we have got Yi, because generally I am saying the dual variables are nothing but the lambda. So you can replace. So lambda is Yi. So this auxiliary function, whatever we find, so that is becoming the dual auxiliary function. So this is the dual problem, dual linear programming problem. And as you know, there are altogether m plus n pairs of complementary conditions. Complementary condition. What are they? What are the conditions? This condition say that summation over j varies from 1 to n aij xj minus bi bracket close into yi equal to 0. This product equal to 0. This indicates either one of them 0 or both of them 0. Okay. So one of them 0 means if you want to check whether it is becoming 0 or not, so we have to use this product equal to 0. So this first constraint, summation over j varies from 1 to n aij xj less than or equal to bi and y greater than or equal to 0. So why the product equal to 0? Who can say? Anybody? Why the product equal to 0? See, I will tell you. Many things we have not explained also. So this aij plus aij xj plus si square minus bi equal to 0. Okay. So this means the left hand side 3 terms are there. Sum of all the 3 terms equal to 0. So we want to combine with the our primal problem. So if you are combining, so there is a term something like, so it was there earlier also, you can see we are adding slug variables aij xj plus si square minus bi equal to 0. So slug variables, so these slug variables are very important. So we can write aij xj minus bi, this difference, okay, or you can say this minus bi equal to minus si square, multiply minus sign, then so their difference of the output, so that is giving the result here. So that difference, so we have reached here. So this xj, summation of j varies from 1 to n cj xj, this is left hand side the primal auxiliary function, the right hand side is the dual auxiliary function, but we are not using directly lambda 1 lambda 2 lambda, we are using some something like, so this primal auxiliary function less than equal to dual auxiliary function less than equal to, so we are expressing the relations between the primal objective function and dual objective function. Okay. So, and the lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda m are the dual variables. Dual variables. So the dual variables are available in the, not in the primal problem. By default, maybe in both, but it is available in the dual problem. Okay. And I told altogether there are m plus n pairs of complementary condition. Okay. So how many are here? They are m number. And with respect to the summation of our I varies from 1 to m, aij yi minus ej into xj equal to 0. J varies from 1 to n. Okay. This. So if you see xj into something, there are some terms here also term this product equal to 0. Okay. So 0 means you have to check whether it is exactly becoming 0 or it is becoming in equation. Okay. So now I will request everybody. So let us discuss this very simple example. Say if this is the problem, then how do we find the dual and how to establish the relationship? Okay. And what is the actual help? The rules say that when you define the primal and dual, so let us say both are primal problem, we are finding dual. So one of them is dual, other is primal. So which one is dual and which one is primal? That is our choice. Okay. So this maximization, whatever is given, this is our primal objective function. And we have some primal constants and two primal variables. With respect to this problem, we have a dual objective function, dual variables, dual constants. So how many dual variable must be there with respect to the primal problem? How many?
3.
Yes, 3. 3 constants, 3 dual variables. And here 3 constants, 3 dual variables, 2 primal variable. 2 primal variables means 2 dual constants. Okay. So with respect to this problem, we have like this. Dual linear prime problem is minimize z dash equal to 10 y1, 11 y2 plus 16 y3 subject to y1 plus y2 plus y3 greater than equal to y1 plus 2y2 plus 4y3 greater than equal to 4. Then we have y1, y2, y3, they are non-negative. So is that all right?
Yes, sir.
So these problems, what is it we observe? See here. There is a small question to all. So we have also solved the problem earlier. We find that x1 equal to 6 and x2 equal to 2.5 is a feasible solution. This is also an optimal solution. But we want to check whether this is an optimal solution or not. We have already, but when we check, we will not solve the problem. We will check using the theorems, using the weak duality theorem and the strong duality theorem. Okay. Next is, can you find an alternate optimal solution of the given problem, given linear programming problem? Okay. So like this, we have 5 pairs of complementary condition. x1 plus x2 minus 10 into y1 equal to 0. Do you accept this? Do you accept this?
Yes, sir.
Second one, x1 plus 2x2 minus 11 into y2 equal to 0. That is also true. Then x1 plus 4x2 minus 16 into y3 equal to 0. This constant, primal constant, dual variables, they are connected. Further, dual constant, primal variables. How? y1 plus y2 plus y3 minus 1 into x1 equal to 0. y1 plus 2y2 plus 4y3 minus 3 into x2 equal to 0. This. Okay. So we have got this 5 complementary pairs. But what is the solution? We have got x1 equal to 6, x2 equal to 2.5. We like to check whether this is an optimal solution. If this is an optimal solution, so it will fulfill all dual primal problem, and the your solution means it will fulfill the weak and strong duality theorems. Okay, this x1 equal to 6, x2 equal to 5. Okay, this. But if you look at to the problem original constraint, you see here x1 plus x2 less than or equal to 10. But what is there? x1 plus x2, one is 6, another is 2.5. How much the sum? Becoming 8.5. It is not becoming 10. 8.5. Second one, x1 plus 2x2. So it is becoming exactly equal to 11. And next, so x1 plus 4x2, that is also becoming 16. Okay. So from this, what we'll find? We'll find in this manner. So this first one is not fulfilling. So since it is not fulfilled, we are multiplying y1 equal to 0. Then this cannot be 0. So y1 has to be 0. Product equal to 0. Is all right? Say product equal to 0, two possibility. At least one of them equal to 0. Both can be also sometimes. But we have observed. So only one of them is 0 in this present form. So y1 is not, say x1, x2, the value, two variables are there. Their value is one is 6, another is 2.5. But when you substitute, say it is feasible, but optimality conditions for now is not fulfilling. Okay. So as a result, so we have checked first three. So first three, what you have got? So y1 equal to 0. Second one, so second one, we are saying y2 is not equal to 0. This because the product equal to 0. Y2 is not equal to 0. Similarly, y3 is not equal to 0. So here itself, and you come to the last two equation. X1 is not equal to 0. X1 equal to 6. X2 is not equal to 0. X2 equal to 2.5. And the product equal to 0 means y1 plus y2 plus y3 minus 1 has to be 0. Already we got y1 equal to 0. So since y1 equal to 0, so we have obtained y2 plus y3 equal to 1. Y3 plus y2 equal to 1. Y3, y2 becoming okay. So this sum equal becoming 1. Then the next one, x2 is not equal to 0 and y1 is 0. So we are getting 2y2 plus 4y3 equal to 3. Okay, 3. So now we have got two equations, two unknowns. Now solve. If we solve, we are finding y2 equal to y3 equal to half. And how the problem? So we have got problem means objective function. Objective function value is becoming 13.5 for the primal. For the dual also 13.5. How? So half value, if you consider this, you see 10y1, 11y2 plus 16y3, y1 equal to 0, 11y2 plus 16y3. So 11 plus 16, 11. So 11 plus 16, how much? 27 into half, 27 by 2. Okay, this. So both are correct. Okay, so it is providing the optimal solution because both the problems are feasible and both the problem has optimal solution, and moreover the maximum value of the objective function and the minimum value of the objective function both are becoming same. Numerical example 2. A similar problem, but here the constraints are little different. Okay. So with respect to this problem, we are asking find an optimal solution of the LPP and check it is using its duality theory. So our solution, the optimal solution equal to 8, 2. Is it possible? Hello? Just see. You can find the solution. How will proceed? See, we are checking whether 8, 2 is a optimal solution or not. Okay. So if it is a optimal solution, then all the condition, all the 5 pairs of the complementary condition will fulfill. So one of the condition is like this: x1 plus x2 minus 10 into, okay, with respect to x1, x2, the first constant will have the first dual variables. x1 plus x2 minus 10 into y1, so equal to 0. Okay. So this is, so 8 and 2 equal to 10. 8 plus 2 equal to 10. So it is fulfilled. So we will not directly substitute, means the first constant will be fulfilled, no other, not that. So it says, so the first one is fulfilled. Now what about the second one? So 8, 2. So 8 and this is 12. So 8 plus 4 equal to 12. 12 is greater than or equal to 11, is true. But so since we are writing in this form, so already it is given x1, x2 are positive, the value is 8, 2. So we are doing experiment with that. Okay. So this is fulfilled, and this is 8 plus 2, so 12, that is fulfilled, but not becoming exactly equal to 0. So the next one, x1 plus 4x2, that is x1 equal to 8, and that is 8 plus 8, 16. This is fulfilled. So 2, 3 equations are fulfilled. So first one is fulfilled, second one is also fulfilled. So all are fulfilled. Okay, all are fulfilled. But how to check? It is a primal and dual has the same solution. Means the objective function values are same. How to check? So we'll check in this manner. So we'll, with respect to that problem, so with respect to this problem, we will formulate the dual. After formulating the dual, we'll try to solve. Okay. Then, so will you try this example 2? Please try. Hello. What is the time now?
240, sir.
240. Okay, please try. My question is, first write the dual of this problem. This is the primal. The dual will be so 3 different constants, so 3 different dual variables, y1, y2, y3, or you can say lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3. They are non-negative. So if you consider in this manner, we have minimize z dash equal to 10. Not minimize, maximize z dash equal to 10 y1 plus 11 y2 plus 16 y3, subject to let us say this minimization. Maximization, we are maximizing, the constant has to be less than equal type. So the first constant is like this: y1 plus y2 plus y3 greater than equal to 2. Second one, y1 plus 2y2 plus 4y3. Okay, that is less than equal to 2, less than equal to, here it will be less than equal to 6. Now we'll solve. Okay. The question is, can you find an alternate optimal solution of this problem? What is your answer? Can you find? So we have to solve more problems, otherwise this concept will not be clear. Okay. So there are a few more problems. Similar manner you try and conclude. And if there is a query, you can discuss. Okay. Lot of problems are there. Okay. So why it is given a lot of problems? Why? See, already a solution is given. Without solving the entire problem, where question is given, you check whether it is correct question or not, whether it is the correct answer or not, whether it is optimal or not, etc. So you have to verify and write. This is not there. This portion is not there. Only the primal. See, there are method like. See, I have mentioned already. Simplex method. Then big M method, two-phase simplex method. With respect to duality, we will have dual simplex method. Say, now the question is, what is dual simplex method? See, generally, whenever there is artificial variables, we introduce whenever there is equal type constant or greater than equal type constant, we introduce artificial variables. These artificial variables creates problem. So to remove the artificial variables, we use big M method or two-phase simplex method. Is there any other method? The next method is the dual simplex method. We'll have to discuss about the dual simplex method. What is that? See, before giving the algorithm, we will take a small example and we will try to find the solution using the dual simplex method. So dual simplex method is applicable. So primal is feasible, dual is infeasible. But dual is actually not infeasible, but looks like it is infeasible. Okay, this. So how to proceed? This is the problem. Minimization type problem. I told any minimization you can change to maximization in this manner. Maximize minus z equal to minus x1 minus 3x2. Okay. Subject to minus x1 minus x2 less than equal to minus 10. Then next one, x1. Okay. x1 minus 2x2 less than equal to minus 11. Then minus x1 minus 4x2 less than equal to minus 16. Okay. These are the, say, why dual simplex? So we will try to avoid the artificial variables, use of artificial variables. Artificial variable will not use. So this will create problem. So now see, I am adding slack variables. Maximize minus z. This is minus x1 minus 3x2. Subject to x1 minus x2 plus s1 equal to minus 10. Similarly, minus x1 minus 2x2 plus x2 equal to minus 11. And similarly, x1 minus 4x2 plus s3 equal to minus 16. See, if you consider there are how many variables altogether? 2 plus 3. How many variables? 5 variables. 5 variables. And how many equations? There are 3 equations, 5 variables, 3 equations. What do you do? So if you can reduce the number of equations, we'll say that we can find the solution. In some problem, let us say we are using in this manner. So when x1, x2 are 0, let us say in some table, x1, x2 are 0. x1, x2, 0 means the primal variables are 0. Instead of 2, maybe all 3 are 0. So what will happen to this problem? x1, 0, x2, 0. s1 equal to minus 10. s2 equal to minus 11. s3 equal to minus 16. So if it is happening like this, so x1, x2, 0. So it gives s1 equal to minus 10. s2 equal to minus 11. s3 equal to minus 16. So what conclusion? it looks like the problem is infeasible. S1, how can it be negative? S2, how can it be negative? So instead of presenting in this manner, we will say that it looks like the problem is infeasible because S1 has to be non-negative, but here it is negative. Okay, S2 equal to negative. Okay, so here S1, S2, S3 are the slack variables. Okay, the slack variables are also known as basic variables. Okay, so and in this problem, as I told, S1, S2, S3 are negative. So once S1, S2, S3 are negative, so certainly you can say, so it is infeasible. Is all right? Negative. It is not possible to have negative value, but here it is showing negative. So maybe we are missing something. So why it is becoming negative? Always it is becoming negative, or only for this particular problem is negative. So that also you have to learn. But if all are negative, then add positive value in this manner and try to solve the problem. Okay, this. So with respect to this problem, this is the fast simplex table. Fast simplex table. In the primal simplex, what you do? Hello? In the primal simplex, what you do? We select the most negative value in the last of the simplex table. In the dual simplex, what you do? We select the most negative positive value. Okay, so in this problem, if you put in the simplex table, so the bottom row of the simplex table, the three elements are 1, 3, 0. 1, 3, 0. Available 1, 3, 0. It is positive. Positive means, so the positive means there may be some increment in the auxiliary function, not for the constants. So that is the reason we have discovered it is becoming positive. So 1, 3, 0. This is positive. And what about the right hand side? Right hand side all negative. So negative and positive. So due to the negative value of the decimal variables, we are saying the problem is infeasible, but it is feasible, right? So I will stop here. Say in the primal simplex, what do we do? Because we need to present the procedure of the dual simplex before solving the problem. Because you may solve several problems, but all this dual simplex, all the problems, standard problems, will not be, we cannot present in this form. Okay. So this is the problem we have taken, and now we are checking whether the present solution is optimal or not. Okay. So this one, and we will again repeat tomorrow, and we like to solve the problem. And there are some few questions in the assignment. So the old questions are like that. Check whether the solution is optimal or not. So how do you try? See, the solution may be a feasible solution, may not be optimal. But how do you check it is optimal? Can you?
So it should be feasible for the dual.
Feasible, and all the complementary pairs must fulfill. All the complementary pairs. How many complementary pair for this problem? If this is a linear programming problem, how many complementary pair? How many?
So 5.
5.
5 complementary pairs. So all 5 you have to verify. Okay, all 5 you have to verify. Okay.
So, but if a solution is feasible for both primal and dual, won't the complementary condition already be fulfilled, or do we have to specifically check if it is fulfilled or not?
No, see, because when you solve a problem, a question is given. So now what you will do? So you will see which problem is becoming convenient for me to solve. Generally, more variables or more constants. Okay, so more variables, the table sometimes become bigger. Okay, so even only two variables, sometimes graphical method you can use also if you can just express, but we are not bothering that. We are bothering whether a given solution is optimal or not. If it is not optimal, then what is the optimal solution? Okay, that is the query.
I had a slightly different question.
Huh?
Sir, I said that we'll check if a solution is optimal or not by checking if if it is a feasible solution of the dual as well. To which you added that we must also check the complementary conditions.
Mhm.
My question was, do we explicitly need to check the complementary conditions
Yes,
or
yes.
the complementary conditions?
Otherwise, which one is fulfilled, which are not. See, in fact, I have to. These are the unknown problems, so that you are able to guess. But when there is unknown problem, you will realize, yes, what should be the scenario. So we will check. We will do it. Okay, tomorrow maybe. So I have to work out few problems. Okay. This part, using the same concept, will solve the transportation problem. Okay, transportation problem. But my intention was to explain the dual simplex algorithm. So all the algorithms like primal, dual, all, now everything we have to make separate. Okay, so this is for the primal simplex, this is for the dual simplex, this is for the bigger, this, that. Okay, all will discuss separately. Okay, so I will just put the slide in the MS Team. You can go through. Okay, I think that is better. Whatever you
Sir,
discussed last. Yes.
sir, I actually wanted to draw your attention to the fact that many of us are not getting the emails properly, sir.
Image.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Like many of us didn't even receive the test link for the email. So, sir, like there was
See
also
the test link the gentleman is giving. I have forwarded, and initially he was saying there are some tests was going on. If somebody is trying, a test is going on. If you try, this is his server is busy. You will not. So after that, it is free. So, but all people has appeared except 2, 3, isn't it?
yes, sir. Like we got to know from other people for the test link.
Well,
But sir,
see, now the question. When is the next test? Tell me. Certainly not on Saraswati Puja. That is a holiday. Okay. 16th February
okay.
not. So instead of 16th February, another 7 days. So even some person I cannot complete. So on 23rd February, I think you're all right. 23rd February, any problem? In February itself. Okay. So in February we'll complete. So in March, one more test, then we have Viva. Okay. So, but since some people are not coming to class, this is the crisis. You are not able to, and you are not reading the mail. Okay. And several times I repeated that the test is on this day, this, that. Okay. So, and people are asking question in the last moment. And I told, if there is a query, in the night you ask and you take my time, that this time you will call, I will be available. Okay. So you need 9 o'clock, I will not be available. Okay. So, and when you ask question, I will ask question to you also, whether you know or not, or simply you are asking. Okay. Anything? All the problems. See, many people have told you are developing software, okay, code. So after finding the answer by manually, why don't you check by your software answer is coming correctly? In the exam, you should not do that thing. But I'm telling, if you are solving several problems, you should check the answer whether it's correct or wrong. This problem is very interesting. The starting problem, we must solve it, but tomorrow we'll solve. Okay, tomorrow we'll discuss. Okay, we'll stop here. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So I will just put the slide in the team, so you can, and